go. So, hi guys, we're going to present our plan for Heritage Day at Vanda Institution. Alright, so this is our presentation overview. I will give you an event description. And then Sarah will take over the communication plan. She'll tell you how we brainstorm about who we should involve and the flow of events. And then Sito will take the written part of the communication artifacts, and Shilan will take the oral presentations. And then, like every communication plan, it should be a sandwich, right? So I'll be back for the evaluation and reflection later. Okay, so before we start, we know this is not an event planning module, it's a communications module, but we still want to tell you more about our event so that you will buy into it and hopefully our MPs will buy into it too. Okay, so our Vanda Institution is situated near Bras Basah Complex, so in the Bugis area, okay? And this might not, you might not know about the history behind Bras Basah Complex. So it's a place that has like 85% bookstores and has many years of history. But something that's also very interesting about Bras Basah is that is its connection with Sing Yao. So in the 70s and the 80s, the Bras Basah compound used to be the holding place for a lot of concerts of Sing Yao, which is a genre of Singapore Chinese music that originated right here. So we wanted to have a revival of this since our school is in the area. So some of the important guests that we are inviting are Mr. Eric Moo, a Singapore songwriter and singer, and then as well as Dr. Lin Yin Yo, who is the MP of this area. Yes. So the general flow of events is that it will be a half-day event to increase the students' awareness of Bras Basah Complex and the meaning it has in this neighborhood. And to let them know about Sing Yao heritage, because it has waned since the 70s, but it's still quite a big part of a lot of Singaporeans' identity. So it will be held on 25th of May, which is the 10th week of term 2 at Bras Basah. And there will be a Sing Yao exhibition, a speech by the MP, a performance and speech by Mr. Eric Moo, as well as a Sing Yao sing-along where the students, their parents, the MP, and everyone will join the big sing-along. Yes. So the key stakeholders that we have identified are the school staff and students, parents, the guests of honors, and also, of course, the owners of Bras Basah Complex. So now, Sarah will tell you more about our communications.
Okay, the next few slides are going to be very wordy. I tried to shorten it, but I can't try any further, so please bear with me. The key points that I'm going to highlight is going to be in red font for easier readability. Okay, so this is the communications plan. So again, purpose, audience, context, some terms that you're all very familiar with. So for the audience, these are the internal audiences. The first and foremost is our students, right? Most important. So we want to inform them of the rationale for the School Heritage Day and also to instruct them of what time to gather where, since it's going to be an external event. Okay, why do we want to inform them the rationale of the event? Because we don't want the students to just go for the program, go through all the different programs of the day, not knowing why they're there in the first place, which defeats the purpose. Okay, so this will be done during our school's assembly briefing. We have assemblies once every 2 weeks, so that will be done during the assembly. And we also have a reminder announcement during morning assembly, either 1 or 2 days before the event itself, to remind students that on that particular day, please don't come to school. Okay? For parents and guardians, we will inform them about the rationale similar to students, to persuade them to consent to their child to participate for the out-of-school activity, and also inform them about the other key details like what time the child is expected to end that day. So it's through a formal letter with a consent form that will be collected by the form teacher, and also a reminder announcement will be done through the school's online messaging platform, involving our key stakeholders through ICT platforms very well. Yes, okay. Next, we also communicate with our school leaders because they are the ones that will approve our plans. So to give them greater clarity on the overall purpose of our plans, inform them of any project updates, and also to persuade them to approve on our plans. So this will be done in small meeting form between the committee members and the school leaders in their office. With the OM and the AM, we'll do budgeting matters, arrangement of bus transport, and allow them to help us to liaise with the canteen vendors and handle any parent inquiries, if they call the school. Okay? So these small group meetings will be held in the conference room, and for the canteen vendors, we thought that it was more appropriate for the OM or the AM to communicate on our behalf because they are more familiar with the canteen vendors compared to us. But of course, some of our committee members will be there together with the AM and OM to answer any queries if they have. Next will be the teachers and the form teachers especially, to inform them on the purpose of the event and the program flow, so that if the students or parents have any questions and they call the form teachers, they are better able to answer. And this will be done during one of the staff meetings in the AVA room. Okay, last slide. Okay, so for invited guests, the MP and Mr. Eric Moo will persuade them to grace the event, and we'll only inform them, the MP, of more details if the MP agrees, so as not to overly burden the MP with too many details. So what we only do for the MP, which we'll elaborate further, is to just provide him the date of the event. If he says he cannot make it, then we'll go on to source for other people. We also persuade Mr. Moo to be our guest star for the event, and also, again, inform him of the details only after he agrees, do not overload him with the details. So this will be done in a formal email to the MP, formal email to Mr. Moo, and if he agrees, we'll conduct a small group meeting with him to discuss more of what is he going to perform, which students are you going to collaborate with. Next, the external parties, which is the management of Bras Basah Complex and any external vendors like the stage setup, sound system setup. We are planning to persuade them to allow us to use their venue and to liaise all these logistical issues with them. So what we'll do is that we'll go down to Bras Basah Complex and have a small group meeting with the management committee and also do a site recce at the same time. Lastly, the com members, which is the teachers who are in the committee, will inform them the purpose of the event, to brainstorm ideas together and also allocate duties for the program. So this will be done in small group meeting style in the conference room. Next, I'll go through the flow of events. So this is our committee. Okay, so short forms will be used because to make the slides less wordy. Okay, I believe all of you know what the short forms are. Okay, so since the event is before the June holidays in term 2, week 10, we are planning to start all the way two terms earlier, as in term 1, week 2. Okay, so when the committee head, which is Mr. Low, meets up with the school leaders, because the school leaders have dictated Mr. Low to plan and head the committee, right? So they will provide him with a better idea about the event so that he can lead his committee in planning the event. And because the principal will most likely have the idea of which MP he or she would like to invite and which place he or she would like the heritage event to be held at this point in time, the ComHead can already send the invitation letter out to the MP and to the management of Bras Basah Complex already, because these things need a long time for the MP and the management to approve. So he will do this before he even meets up with the committee. Okay, so the points in staff form are those that we'll highlight further with the communication plans in both oral and written form. So what other things are important? Okay, so we also send an invitation email to Mr. Eric Moo for his guest appearance in somewhere in term 1, week 7, which is, this is supposedly what we had planned during our first committee meeting. So this guest speaker is what the ComHead wouldn't have thought of by himself, but he'll meet up with his com members to discuss. Okay, so in term 2, we'll start to brief the teachers during the staff meeting and also conduct the assembly briefing. We'll give out the consent forms, collect the consent forms, and somewhere in the middle of term 2, we'll get the OM to arrange for bus transport. 2 days before, we'll send out the mass message to inform parents as a reminder through the online system. 1 day before, make a morning assembly reminder to the students. And lastly, in term 3, week 1, that's post-event, we plan to have a post-event communication where we have a write-up for the school magazine about the event, and also send thank you emails or cards to the various external vendors involved, like Bras Basah Complex, Mr. Eric Moo, so on and so forth. So now I'll hand the time over to Ivan. Thank you.
So for my part, I'll be covering 3 different emails, each with a different audience and purpose. So first one is to Dr. Lily Neo. And this email, right, it will be first, okay, we'll give you a context, why we invite her, and what's the purpose of the event, why would she want to come. And then we give them some, but then all these, the details of the event is very brief, right? And then we go on to show some sincerity and willingness to accommodate to any changes. Because at the very first email, I don't think it's very good to just say, here, this is the time date, please come join us. But we would like to show her that she's valued, and so give her some context as well. Okay, the bolded words, right, will be the excerpts which I will be showing later. So, firstly, context invitation. Why would we want to have this event? Why we want to invite her? It's because of the in line with some National Singapore Heritage stuff. So it's just nice within that period, and we want to invite her as well. Okay? Okay, and then then we move on to sincerity and willingness to accommodate. Well, we want is to show that we really value her as an individual, and that when she comes, we'll be very appreciative. So that she should be more willing to come. Okay? And credibility we all know, right? And more with good credibility. In this case, the principal. Next, letters to parents. This will be a different purpose really. The previous one was to persuade, to invite, but this one is mere to inform and to ask for support. Similarly, we give them the context, purpose, and date, and also we tell them why is it good for your child, and some of the brief detail about the particular event. And then, of course, they end up with a feedback loop, good view close, and some credibility as well. We establish all those. Okay, so when it comes to the benefit for their child, we have to explain them, your child will gain this, will gain that, and some brief detail, the perks of the activity. We have Dr. Lily Neo, Mr. Eric Moore, so it's really formal and you can really take a glance and glimpse of what happened in the past. And also we end up with a feedback loop and good new close, because this is an event and parents may want to join their children in Bras Basah together, right? So there's so we will give them a contact so that they can find us if they have any question. And then also we, of course, end up with a good new close so that they know that we are working with them, they are working with us. We're not ordering them to give us their child. Yeah. Then, lastly is the email to, it's a letter to National Art Council. Is to ask for sponsorship. So you get the context and purpose. Why we need sponsorship? What is it for? And then alignment of aim. Why should you give it to us? And then what benefit it gives and what is the evidence that they have. As usual, you end up with feedback loop, good close, and then some credibility. Yeah? So now as for alignment of aim, basically we went to Google their website, see what's the aim of it, and realize that it's really in line with our project. So they highlight it to them and say, yeah, this grant is meant for this purpose, yeah, this event is meant for this purpose, so you should give it to us. And then we give them what's the benefit and evidence. Like it will help our students to learn more about what the history, the heritage. Why? Because Mr. Arimu is coming down and he's really one of the people in the past, right? I mean, he's still a person now, but yeah, you can get a glimpse of what happened in the past, right? And also we help our student and teacher to appreciate participation in arts. How do we know? Because they are going to be the one present at some point in time. So overall, what you want is what we want. We have the money, we need the money. Something like that. So yeah. So after that, I'll move on to.
Okay, thanks, Ivan. Okay, so now I'll be going through you guys some of the oral presentations that we're going through. They will follow the flow of events that Sarah has mentioned just now earlier. So the first thing that we will do is to actually have a small group meeting in the conference room. Now, pre-meeting, I, as the com head, will be reminding the committee members the time, the venue, things that they need to prepare or bring, as well as to kind of like source for ideas for the program before we actually meet up, right? And I will set the agenda and also decide on logistics, like what do I have to prepare in terms of maybe I want to bring some refreshments for them to have or whatever. Yeah. So this meeting will also follow the PAC, which is what Sarah went through just now as well. So the audience is the committee members. The purpose is to inform the purpose of the event, to brainstorm ideas for the program, and allocate duties to all three of them. Yeah. So this is a simple agenda that that we will have. Yeah. So the first 5 minutes will actually be housekeeping, which is actually for people who are late, and then they're like, oh sorry, I'm in the toilet, you know, that kind of thing. So that would be like housekeeping matters, or maybe like we just set up everything just to keep everybody, like ensure that everyone's ready for the meeting itself. Followed by event introduction, brainstorming, allocation of duties, and finally any other business. Now, as you can see that it's all headed by me because I'm the committee head, and so I know a lot of the information because of my prior meeting with the school leaders. And so this is the part where I'll talk about how during the meeting it's actually chairman-led, right? So because I have most of the information, I'll be running the sequence of the meeting because I know most of the information and I'm allocating the duties to them to meet them, to let them think about what they want to do for this whole program itself. Yeah. So I'll also allocate a member to take minutes because that's very important, to set house rules and to be task focused because I want to go home as well. So post-meeting, an email will be sent out which consists of the minutes, a too long didn't read kind of explanation of the whole idea of the meeting, allocation of duties just to reinforce, just to put on black and white like who is supposed to do what, and finally the next tentative date of the meeting, since we're going to meet up again in the future to kind of discuss more on what we have done so far. Mm-hmm. The next thing is actually the assembly briefing. So now it's actually a big scale kind of briefing. So I decided to use the situation and strategies that I would employ. So the situation is that the venue is in the hall, so it's uncomfortable. The time is in the afternoon, so it'll be very warm. And the context is also the last period of the day. So students are distracted, they want to go home, or they want to eat because they're hungry. So in this case, some strategies would be to first to get attention getter, right? So to show a video on Sing Yao, familiar songs, to get them hooked on to what we're going to talk about. And to set a more conducive environment in terms of maybe finding out whether there's air conditioning or whether there is a fan, or whether there are fans for them to be down in the heat. Yeah. Finally, the slides will consist of a self-introduction of myself, introducing the School Heritage Day, the overview of the program, followed by instructions for the students if we have any at the time. Finally, there will be some time for questions. Okay. So the last oral presentation that I'll be doing is actually on the meeting with Mr. Eric Moo. So after we have typed down that he's coming, we'll actually bring him down because one is to inform him about the details of the event, and two is also to decide on the song item to collaborate. That because we're going to have a collaborative piece, and we're going to like try to figure out what he wants to sing with the students. So before the meeting, I will actually remind relevant personnel again on the time, the venue, things to prepare, and to not ask for any autographs because he's an esteemed guest, so we don't want him to feel very like creeped up. Yeah. And finally, obviously again need to set the agenda and also logistics as well. Yeah. So this is another agenda that I've done. So again, housekeeping, an event introduction, questions and answers in case Mr. Eric Moo has any questions. Finally, followed by choosing a song item for the collaborative performance. Any other business, and then we will end off with a lunch. Now, as you can see in this case, I would have actually handed off some of the duties to, like, for example, Ivan, who introduced the events, because this meeting is actually more discussion-based, because we actually but we actually want their input as well. So I will again allocate members to take minutes, and it will also again be task focused because I want to go home. So the post meeting, there will be a lunch session to give Mr. Eric Moo and the students a chance to interact with each other. And again, emails will be sent out on the minutes, too long didn't read, final song choice, and the final sequence of events. Now this email will be sent out to relevant personnel, which will include Mr. Eric Moo and his expose. So now I'll pass the time back to Shalom.
Okay, so how do we know if our communication plan has succeeded? Of course, it's Dr. Lily Neo and Mr. Eric Moo agree to come to the event. Yes? Good. No? Okay. And then, so if that doesn't fall through, we might have to, look for a backup plan, other guests of honors. So how was the performance segment by Mr. Eric Moo and the selected students? Did they go on stage and start singing 2 different songs? Or did they know when is their cue to go on stage? Like, was it communicated clearly to them? And did the students know where to report or what to bring? Did we find some stragglers who were confused and went to school instead? Right? So that will show that we didn't succeed. So, and also were the external vendors and management of Bras Basah able to prepare the venue as per the school's requirements? So if they did, very good. Alright, and our reflections. So having a comms plan right at the start helps us in event planning. So it can help us proceed systematically and anticipate any PR issues that might occur. So PAC, by knowing the purpose, we ensure that any communication is meaningful. So we don't do any unnecessary, we don't provide too much information, don't overload them, and make sure they know what they need to know and not too much more. Yeah. And are we aware of our audience? Like, do all stakeholders feel involved and valued in the process? And by knowing the context, we know how to predict like the venue or style or format of communication as well. And thinking about the time, in our communication plan, we also have a timeline. So we will have like certain fixed dates where we have to get something done. But we also have buffer times where we can, fall on the backup plan if needed. And also, we realize the importance of maintaining positivity and clarity when we are speaking to anybody at all. So we acknowledge what the other party is saying, repeat, we answer, and we elaborate. So that will ensure that the clarity is there and you feel valued as well. And Shilam added this wasn't in this at first, but like everybody else, if we fail to plan, we plan to fail. Thank you.
So I noticed